Guys, I feel a little silly doing this. I've never made a YouTube video, but I'm gonna give you a lowdown on what we got going on here today. It's January. There's not a whole awful lot going on, but we got Christmas lights we're taking down. I'll make some videos about how I take those down, how I store them, and then I just got some skids for my trucks. Zoom that in there, because I was running out of just the trailer, and it was a whole ordeal if I wanted to do any pressure washing. So I'm hoping, I primarily do window cleaning, right? So I'm hoping to add a lot more pressure washing on now that we got the skids and everything on the trucks daily. Not looking good back here. But basically, this one I bought completely plumbed up. It's pretty well ready to roll. And then this one over here I just bought as a blank skid. But this came with 2 100-gallon tanks. One's for water, one's for your sodium hypochlorite. Never in my life will I ever need 100 gallons of sodium hypochlorite at one time. So we're gonna take, I'll do a video on it, but we're gonna be taking this tank, washing it out of course, and putting it as a water tank on this one. Then we'll just have some odds and ends, like plumbing this thing up. I'm gonna go get a machine this weekend, I think, for this. And this one actually came with a shelf. The other one is like I guess it's a 6.5 foot skid, I guess, because you can put a toolbox up front. It's an 8-foot bed. But this one here came with a shelf. It's in here somewhere. And it's got a shelf you can put across this. So I think I'm going to mount my machine on there. Or maybe these hose reels are on the wrong side, but I haven't even started. Or maybe like the machine on here, have your battery, have your gas tank and everything. Hose reels on this side, obviously. This whole thing's backwards. But we're gonna put one of the 100-gallon tanks in here. And I don't even know if we'll roll with a SH tank, to be completely honest. Because I think I'll just be downstreaming for the most part on a majority of my washes. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going. I got some plumbing parts for it. Yesterday, ran down to it's for like an hour and a half to get to this plumbing place I like, and got pretty well everything that I should need for it. And then the rest will just be really putting it together. But I'm going to kind of show you what we got, why we got what we have, and what it's going to do, I guess. It'll probably make more sense when I make a video actually plumbing it up. I had this laying around. This will be what we're downstreaming with on that blank skid we're going to build out. It needs a shut off, but other than that, we're good to roll there. Got some extra stuff. But we'll go take a look at what all we got yesterday and what the plans are. So, walk in the office. This is kind of what we're looking at. So I got our Y filter for that new skid we're building. And I don't know who else is going to be watching this. Some of you guys may know this. Some of you guys, this may be new information. But whenever you're filling water into your machine, you want it filtered somehow. So like this, let me see if I can, let me get this off here. So this here's a filter, your water's running through here. It's got a strainer in here. Thing's really on there. But you can see it in there. All your water's gonna get sent through that strainer, and then you can clean it out, drain it, whatever you need to do. So that's important, because if you have a buffer tank both of those skids are going to be 5.5 gallon per minute machines. My trailer is a 10 gallon a minute machine. So whenever you have a buffer tank plumbed up, you're going to want something to filter your water, because that water in there can get stagnant, get some algae, weird looking junk on there. I'll probably show you guys some of that. Yeah, probably not, because I pretty well drained all my tanks. Then we got a shutoff, and then we've got our cam lock here. So then a lot of people put like a bulk drain, a separate bulk drain. You can add them on here. You can add a T, you know, with your drain over here. That's what I bought parts for that. And then I got thinking, I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all to do that. So you can just use this as a bulk drain, and then this will connect into your pressure washer. Here, got ourselves a Hudson float valve. And again, if you guys don't know what this is, it has a little float in there. So you'll stick this on the actual inside of your tank, and this will sandwich in between the plastic right there, so like your water hookup will be coming in there. Once your water gets high enough to push that float up, it'll stop the water, so that way you don't have your tanks overfilling. Since I'm going to be using that SH tank, it is not equipped with one of these, so I will be putting that in since I'll be using it for water. Sorry for the camera angles changing here a whole awful lot. I got I'm just filming this on my phone. I've never put a video out on YouTube, but kind of getting into it, maybe. We have another cam lock. This is for, oh, you can't even see it. But this is going to be for that other skid, the actual built-out one. It didn't have one. I find that kind of useful sometimes, especially when you're winterizing. And then we have a water filter. This will be coming from our feed hose. So if you'll imagine we got our hose over here going to the house, hooked up, feeding us water. This will be a water filter before it hits the tank. And I can show you that on my other skid here. So here's what I was talking about with that water filter. Just an extra level of filtration before you hit your buffer tank. Obviously this will be hooking up to your house. This one has a chemical line. Then it also has a proportioning system. I went up to get this skid from Iowa, and it froze before I got back home. So I don't know how good this thing really is necessarily, or if I'll be using it. Again, most of the time I'm going to be downstreaming. This does have a soft wash system. But the whole reason I got the skids, if I wanted to soft wash, I would probably trailer. Or, you know, if I was doing any, like, soft wash. This is just to add on house washing, like a lickety-split thing. And more or less just to have a pressure washer on the truck with me, you know? It'll be a different video on upselling. But if you have that with you, there's a ton more money you can make than if you just got your squeegees and your ladders and your water fed system. Yeah. One last thing here. This is super important. I just learned this while I was at the store yesterday. Your pressure washer. If you guys are building your setups, I'm sure I'm going to have this video titled something to where if you're building a setup, you hopefully find it. But if you're building your setup, you know that your pressure washing line is not the same. It does not have the same thread as any other like fittings you're going to find, right? These have a different thread on them. Of course, they're a different size, but the thread itself is different. So instead of shopping online at whatever wholesaler you want and spending God knows how much on these fittings, these are the same threads as hydraulic hoses. I think they're NFP, National Pipe Thread, or something to that effect. But basically, this is going to come into my machine. I will have my downstreamer there, and this will connect to my hose reel. Because I got a hose reel on a good deal off Marketplace, but I couldn't find a connector to fit into it. I was like, what? Anything I tried, I was like, this does not make any sense. Well, it was a 3/4 inch NFP in there. Which it's a pressure hose. It's a pressure reel. So I found this, screwed it in, it's gonna work. And these fittings were like $5. So you just gotta kinda look for what you need in the hydraulic section. And this is a hydraulic hose. Screws right into your quick connects just fine. And then it's even rated for 4,800 PSI. So that might be helpful if you're building a skid or building a trailer or what have you. That's another thing. If you get a pressure washing whip line, dude, whip lines are like, I would have to check, don't quote me on this, but they're upwards of $50. I can check in my receipts here, but I think this thing was right around 20, 24, 25, with the same threads that you're gonna get. So, little helpful hint, might save you some money. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, that's not the way to do it. And I'm sure I'll learn that lesson the hard way, and then I'll be one of those guys, but